Right, so now we will have the panel discussion. Panel discussion ka topic rahega e-governance initiatives, lessons learned and best practices. And I would now like to invite on stage the speakers of this panel discussion, the honorable speakers, respected speakers. Mr. Hansraj Verma IS, Chairman and MD, Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency, Government of Tamil Nadu. I request you please come up on stage. Another speaker, Dr. S. Siddharth IS, is Additional Chief Secretary, Home, Finance, Cabinet and Chief Minister, Secretariat, Government of Bihar. I would like to invite on stage the next speaker, Dr. N. Vijaya Lakshmi IS, Principal Secretary, Animal and Fisheries Resources, Government of Bihar. I would like to invite the next speaker, Dr. Manoj Rajan IFS, Chief Executive Officer, Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka. I would like to invite the next speaker, Mr. Tushar Y. Bhatt, IS, Managing Director, Gujarat Informatics Limited, and Director, ICT and E-Governance Office, Government of Gujarat. Next speaker would be Ms. Neha Jain, IS, Special Secretary, IT and MD, UPDESCO, Department of IT and Electronics, Government of Uttar Pradesh. And the next speaker, Mr. Anuj Kapoor, Vice President, Head of India Region, Iron Mountain. And the moderator for the session would be Mr. Amit Kumar Singh, Executive Director, Deloitte, India. Request everyone, all the speakers and the moderator on the stage, please. To invite another speaker, Dr. Ashish Jain, IS, and his Secretary IT, Himachal Pradesh. Dr. Ashish Jain. इनका भी हम तालियों के साथ स्वागत करते हैं. Please, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so over to sir, the moderator. Yeah.
Good afternoon. I hope, so I think if you look at the background about this particular session has already been said in the previous session, right? Everyone spoke about the importance of e-government, right? So there are no brainers in terms of why we need e-governance in this country. And we have got a very, very exciting panel. In fact, I was looking at this panel, so we have got the senior officers from many states and the experience ranging from 10 to 35 years of experience. Right? So it's a very, very kind of dynamic panel coming from people, stalwarts, and also kind of some young officers as well. So I think the end of this particular session, what I request panelists to share their experience about the e-government which you have undertaken. Why do you share about the experience of the project? You also share the learnings and also the challenges it came from. Because if you look at initially, the IT projects were taken like ancillary projects, right? The core, somebody has to do IT project and there are some part of it. But over the period of time, if you see, IT projects have become mainstream. Like, there have been speedies only running IT projects and systems have become law in itself. For good or bad, right? So let me start with the most senior person around here, as per my understanding, Shri Hansraj Verma ji, Chairman MD and Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency. And he has been on the board of many other agencies. He has been chairman of the many other similar agencies and has, kind of in 35 years of his career has performed very well. Sir, over to you, if you would like to start with something very, very interesting. Sir, here is fine.
The organizers and dear friends, let me share with you a few strategic imperatives, study considerations of digital transformation, deployment of IT, learnings from my experience in the bureaucracy. Friends, today, what are the key words you heard in the first two sessions? National security, geopolitical context, technology security, cyber security, change management. For any nation, technology security is national security. In fact, a lot of my interaction with you will be very specific to Ladakh. Today's geopolitical context points that Ladakh is extremely crucial for the nation in terms of national security. a strong, prosperous, economically strong Ladakh is a national asset, a strength for the nation. I represent 3 organizations: the Tamil Nadu Industrial Investment Corporation, which is India's leading state finance corporation with assets under 3,000 crores, the Energy Development Agency. Also, I am the president, All India President of the State Finance Corporation across India. I have been dealing with this Jammu and Kashmir state finance corporations. And these state finance corporations have got to play a very crucial role in the economic development of the respective nations by leveraging information technology. In my long career in the service, I had the good fortune of being associated with IT projects right from 1999 with the Land Record Registration Department. Then we had with the Electricity Board, then part of the BharatNet project as the IT Secretary, now with the financial world for the delivery of financial services and competition with the private sector. Friends, few gleanings from my learnings. Deployment of information technology is not about IT per se. It is about change management. As one of the speakers was mentioning, when you deploy IT project, systems, processes will not ask you, but it's the human being behind that. So approach IT projects as change management projects. You need to get the ownership of all the employees in the organization. It should be a pull factor. So how we used to deploy these projects? With 3 simple mantra: see it, do it, and own it. These projects are to make their work simpler and not to change any power equation. The moment you approach these projects with that, you will have resistance to change. And it's a human nature that we are resistant to change. So deploy them as change management projects with the element of IT. Second, as I was on the sidelines discussing with Anuj Nair of the Iron Man, India needs India-specific, India cost point, India price point, appropriate technology IT projects. We do not need big projects by big MNCs. So when departments or organizations look for IT projects, first identify your need and then look for IT solution for the needs. Often it happens is companies already have IT product with them, a costly product, and then they try to sell you that product. The fit of that product with your needs will not be an optimal fit. Next, today, as our Honorable LG was mentioning, it's the world of cyber warfare, asymmetric warfare. Build cyber security element, sensitization, consciousness among the department employees from day one. The weakest link in cyber security is your own employees. Today, imagine what happens in the geopolitical context if the power supply or the water supply or the transportation of Ladakh is disrupted by a cyber attack. What will happen? It's a clear and present danger. Cyber security. This has to be built in as an integral part right from the project conceptualization, planning by all departments, all the stakeholders. Next, build sustainability in the projects. Often what happens is projects in government departments are officer driven. As long as the officer is there, the project is there. The moment the officer is transferred, sustainability of the project becomes a challenge. So how do you build sustainability? Build sustainability by getting ownership of the project at all levels of the organization. So the project is independent of the officer at the helm. He gives leadership, but the project is owned by the department officials. This is extremely important if you want long-term deployment of the IT projects. So friends, IT is a force multiplier. We have to deploy it very, very strategically. Every state in India today is at various stages of development. This is India's century. The China Plus One strategy, which means manufacturing is going to be a very, very crucial component of India's economy. Now, if we want to be relevant, competitive at the world stage, our manufacturing has to deploy IT. This is the Industry 4.0 revolution. The first revolution was steam revolution, first industrial revolution. Second revolution was the electricity revolution. Third was the computer internet. And the fourth revolution is based on IoT, Internet of Things, sensors, high-speed broadband, through which we enhance the productivity of our industries, in particularly the MSMEs, because the MSMEs are the backbone of India's industrial strength. So all states, it's an imperative for us to deploy IR4 in a very, very calibrated manner. By deploying IR4, which is nothing but an interface, a cyber physical interface of the machines and the IoT and sensors by which we get data in real time. We enhance our efficiencies, effectiveness, productivity of our machines. We are able to remain competitive. This is also going to be a huge area of deployment. The next project which we rolled out in India is BharatNet. You have heard of the project, taking broadband to all the village panchayats. I was part of the project for deploying BharatBand in Tamil Nadu, 12,500 village panchayats. These optical fiber networks of BharatBand are the highways of the future. Our first development was based on the physical infrastructure of roads. These highways, based on high-speed communication, broadband, are going to lead India's next level development. I'm sure the Ladakh administration is going to get its share of the BharatNet, in which we deploy high-speed optical fiber cables, deliver high-speed broadband services to the remotest part of the Ladakh Union Territory. This applies to all the states, by which every citizen, every student has got access to the best of the education. Every citizen has got access to the best of the health care, best of the inputs for agriculture. Ladakh has to deploy the power of its self-help group women movement, go for micro enterprises, use power of technology for marketing your products. You have a very, very unique set of artisanal products from here, a unique set of regular products here. Use technology for getting access to the markets. So friends, it is India's century. India is going to lead the world. India is going to be a developed nation very shortly. India is going to have its place in the Committee of Nations at the high table with pride, with confidence, and information technology is going to play a very, very role. Now coming to Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu is India's leading state. I am from the Tamil Nadu cadre. We are the most industrialized state, a state which is going to lead India in green manufacturing, energy transition. That's a different subject. It's India's second largest state GDP, a state powered by thought leadership, technology leadership for transformative growth. Using this platform, using this podium, I invite partnerships of all the stakeholders and audience members and the states where we will share our best practices with you. In fact, there is no need to reinvent the wheel. This kind of seminars, events should ensure that best practice of the states are shared among all the states so that the states which are backward today can leapfrog and all become equal partners in India's progress in this transformative century. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, I'll just move on to Dr. Siddharth, IAS Additional Chief Secretary, Home Finance Cabinet, Government of Bihar. Before that, I'll just have one request, maybe we can just keep it to 5 to 7 minutes, looking at the timer also. I think my previous experiences and lunch goes to 3 p.m., which I'm sure not many people would kind of like it. Sir, so Dr. Verma talked about certain important things about the ownership, right? Ownership of department, capacity, resistance management, the kind of sovereignty of things, right? And the need analysis. So your views, sir, on some of those things.
Thank you. मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगा, शायद सब लोग हिंदी में कंफर्टेबल रहेंगे। देखिए, जो कंप्यूटर या सॉफ्टवेयर जब इम्प्लीमेंट होता है तो जो यूजर डिपार्टमेंट है पहले तो अपनी प्रॉब्लम स्टडी करता है। जब कोई वेंडर आता है, मोस्टली बहुत सारे वेंडर्स आज भी आए हैं, तो कभी कभी वेंडर्स का अपना नजरिया होता है कि ये प्रोडक्ट ठीक है, ये प्रोडक्ट ठीक है, ये प्रोडक्ट कर्नाटका में चल गया, ये प्रोडक्ट आंध्रा में चल गया, आप भी इसको इम्प्लीमेंट कर दीजिए। प्रॉब्लम यहीं से शुरू होता है। अगर वही प्रोडक्ट अगर आप लद्दाख में जो 3 लाख की आबादी है वहां इम्प्लीमेंट कर देंगे तो इट विल बी डिजास्टर। तो ये बहुत केयरफुली उस रीजन की विशेषता, वहां के लोगों का कितनी कैपेसिटी है इसको एक्सेप्ट करने का, क्या वो इसको यूज कर पाएंगे, आपके यूजर डिपार्टमेंट की कैपेसिटी क्या है और आपका क्या प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट है, ये बिल्कुल स्पष्ट होना चाहिए। मतलब ये बिल्कुल क्लियर होना चाहिए कि आप इसको क्यों इंप्लीमेंट करेंगे। मेरी पीएचडी है, मैं इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी में पीएचडी हूँ और मेरा पीएचडी टॉपिक ही यूजर एक्सेप्टेंस है। तो ये बहुत क्रिटिकल फैक्टर होता है किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट को इंप्लीमेंट करना। बिहार में बहुत बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स इंप्लीमेंट होते हैं, 12 करोड़ से पॉपुलेशन है और अक्रॉस द स्टेट आईटी सॉफ्टवेयर इंप्लीमेंट होते हैं। कुछ तो डिपार्टमेंट्स के लिए अपने इंटरनल यूज के लिए, जैसे कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट सॉफ्टवेयर है, एंड टू एंड बिल्कुल पेपरलेस है। और कुछ हमारे फार्मर्स जो वहां पे 12 करोड़ फार्मर्स हैं वो ऑनलाइन अप्लाई करते हैं। प्रॉब्लम का है, सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम वो है जब आप इसको किसानों में, स्टूडेंट्स में, आप कहते हैं कि आपके जो हाउसिंग प्रोजेक्ट में इंप्लीमेंट कर दीजिए रूरल एरिया में, प्रॉब्लम वहां से शुरू हो जाती है। बहुत बड़ा सर्वर आप लगाते हैं, बहुत बड़ा वेबसाइट लगाते हैं, ऐप बेस्ड मॉड्यूल्स लगाते हैं और आप इसको छोड़ देते हैं कि चलिए आप किसान लोग इसमें अप्लाई कर दीजिए या स्टूडेंट लोग अप्लाई कर दीजिए। ये बड़ा डिफिकल्ट और बहुत ही चैलेंजिंग एस्पेक्ट है। लद्दाख में हम ट्राई करेंगे कि सभी 3 लाख हमारे फार्मर्स हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, टीचर्स हैं, मदर्स हैं, सभी लोग ऑनलाइन अप्लाई कर देंगे। इट्स गोइंग टू बी बिग चैलेंज। सबसे पहले आपको ये देखना है कि उनकी कैपेसिटी क्या है और एक स्टेप वाइज आप चल सकते हैं। सबसे पहले आप कोशिश करते हैं एक हाइब्रिड मोड में चलिए पहले, और फिर फुली ऑनलाइन इसको करना। हो सकता है आपके गांव में, पंचायतों में कम्युनिटी सेंटर्स हैं या लोकल डेटा एंट्री ऑपरेशन सेंटर्स हैं जहां पे लोग अप्लाई करेंगे और फिर ऑनलाइन इसको सर्विस। यदि ये व्यवस्था आप नहीं करते हैं तो आप इस प्रोजेक्ट्स को इंप्लीमेंट अक्रॉस बोर्ड नहीं कर सकते। जो आदमी आईटी कंप्यूटर जानता होगा वो इस गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स का फायदा उठा लेगा, और जो आदमी या जो फैमिली आईटी या कंप्यूटर का जानकारी नहीं होगा वो बैठ के देखता रहेगा। और सबसे खराब बात और आ जाती है कि मिडिलमैन बीच में घुस जाते हैं एज आईटी ऑपरेटर्स, जो सोचते हैं चलिए आए हम आपका डेटा एंट्री कर देते हैं, हम आपका अप्लाई कर देते हैं। सो ये एक मेजर प्रॉब्लम और हो जाता है। ये आप एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के चले हैं, आप एक दूसरा प्रॉब्लम पे आ गए। तो आपको ये बिल्कुल क्लियर हो जाना चाहिए कि जिसके लिए और जिस पब्लिक और जिस पॉपुलेशन के लिए आप इंप्लीमेंट कर रहे हैं उसकी कैपेसिटीज क्या है इसको यूज करने के लिए और अडॉप्ट करने के लिए। या तो ट्रेनिंग करिए या आप ऐसे फैसिलिटेशन सेंटर्स रखिए जहां पे अप्लाई कर सकते। बहुत ही क्रिटिकल है in places like Ladakh, in places like Himachal, in places like Jammu Kashmir, in places like hilly areas, और in places where the literacy level जो है आपकी शिक्षा का जो स्तर है, लेवल है, बहुत कम है। ये बहुत ही क्रिटिकल है। चाहे कोई कंपनी के कोई प्रोडक्ट का मैन्युफैक्चरर, कोई सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी, कोई मेजर आईटी कंपनी आपको जो ज्ञान दे दे, बट ये ज्ञान बिल्कुल स्पष्ट होना चाहिए और ये लीडर ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट बहुत स्पष्ट होना चाहिए। आप ये बिल्कुल नहीं लेके चल सकते हैं कि ये कंपनी ने ऐसा कह दिया, ये कंपनी ने ऐसा कह दिया, इस कंपनी ने कर्नाटक में इंप्लीमेंट कर दिया, इस कंपनी ने तमिलनाडु में इंप्लीमेंट कर दिया। आप अपने इलाके का लोकल कैपेसिटीज इवैल्यूएट करिए और इंप्लीमेंट करिए। दूसरा मेजर प्रॉब्लम है कि डिपार्टमेंट को अपने नहीं पता होता कि क्या इंप्लीमेंट करना होता है। ब्रॉड स्टेटमेंट रहता है, ब्रॉड, कि हम इस पूरे को ऑनलाइन करेंगे, पेपरलेस करेंगे। प्रॉब्लम वहीं से शुरू हो जाती है जब आपको खुद ही नहीं पता क्या करना है और ये कैसे करना है। या तो वेंडर घुस जाएगा या फिर आपके डिपार्टमेंट में कुछ लोग बैठ के इसको बनाएंगे। फिर आएगी टेंडरिंग, प्रोक्योरमेंट की प्रक्रिया, जो प्रोक्योरमेंट प्रोसेस है, टेंडर है, ये पूरा जितनी गलतियां हैं ये सब उसी में इनबिल्ट कर जाती हैं, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट डिफाइन नहीं है, आपको यही पता करना क्या है। और उसके बाद जब सॉफ्टवेयर रिक्वायरमेंट और स्पेसिफिकेशन फ्रीज करना होता है वहां पे भी कॉम्प्लिकेशंस हो जाते हैं। एंड देन इट स्टार्ट्स गेटिंग इंप्लीमेंटेड, शुरू हो जाते हैं इंप्लीमेंटेशन। एवरीबडी राइट्स स्टार्ट्स राइटिंग कोड, समबडी ट्राइज टू पुश इन देयर बिल्ट इन सॉफ्टवेयर्स। फिर प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है इस पूरे प्रॉब्लम प्रोसेस में इंप्लीमेंटेशन कि आप इसको इंप्लीमेंट कैसे हो। अब ये फाइनल यूजर एक्सेप्टेंस सर्टिफिकेट कहां से प्राप्त होगा, हाउ विल यू गेट योर यूजर एक्सेप्टेंस सर्टिफिकेट एंड अ गो लाइव सर्टिफिकेट। ये दो टर्मिनोलॉजी है जो पूरी इंडस्ट्री में बहुत ही फेमस है। वहां पे पब्लिक एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहा है या प्रॉब्लम जिसको सॉल्व करना है वो सॉल्व नहीं हो रहा है, कंपनी ने अपना रेडीमेड सॉफ्टवेयर पुशिंग कर दिया है। ये पूरा 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 बिल्कुल डिस्प्यूट में जाता है बहुत सारे स्टेट्स में। एंड मेरे एक्सपीरियंस में कहता है कि 80% ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम्स आर इनटू दिस। जो आप सक्सेसफुल मॉडल सुनते हैं, चाहे आप कुछ भी कर लीजिए ना, आप इवन an income tax software which was first launched as version 1, it had the same problem. Then they shifted to version 2, version 3. Same with UID, you have the same problem in all softwares across the country, across the states. और इसी बीच एक और ट्रेजेडी हो जाती है इस पूरे implementation process में। The officer who started the project gets transferred. अब जो नया ऑफिसर है वो सोचता है कि करना क्या था और कर दिया क्या। You are with another bigger problem. This is another bigger problem. And IAS में विशेषकर हम लोग की बिरादरी में होता है कि जो पिछला किया वो ठीक नहीं है, जो हम करते हैं वही ठीक है। That's a bigger problem. And we accept it as a cadre. We accept it as मेरे सारे ब्रदर कोलीग्स हैं, मैडम भी हैं और मेरी वाइफ भी है कि जो पिछला किया वो तो ठीक नहीं किया, मैंने ही ठीक किया, पता नहीं क्या करके चला गया, क्या सॉफ्टवेयर है, एंड इट गोस फॉर 6 and 80% of the IT बात यहाँ पे नहीं करेंगे कोई, and we should frankly also talk about, because it's a new state, you know, it's a new union territory trying to implement IT. We should try to talk about our challenges, problems we faced as old states. कितनी प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है इस लोग सब को लेके. Everything is not hunky dory है ना, सब कुछ आया, कंपनीज आई, सॉफ्टवेयर आया, पब्लिक शुरू हो गई, ऑनलाइन पेपरलेस हो गया, everything is done. No, this is not the state. It's a very, very different and a very challenging path to tread on. मैं तो मुख्यमंत्री, I am the principal secretary to chief minister also. मैं सारे राज्य के, the whole state के मैं सॉफ्टवेयर देखता हूँ, मैं सभी प्रोजेक्ट्स को भी मॉनिटर करता हूँ. It's a very, very challenging process. इसलिए मेरे अन्य पैनलिस्ट भी इस पर बात करेंगे, मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ. And as a small union territory, please do understand your challenges. Please do understand your challenges regarding your connectivity. Please do understand your challenges regarding your distances. Please do understand your challenges regarding your road connectivity. Please do understand your challenges regarding your weather conditions. Please do understand your challenges regarding your literacy levels. And then try to adapt your software, which anybody tries to suggest or tries to implement. मेरा यही कुछ बातें थी, अगर मैं समय पार नहीं कर पाया.
Thank you sir for a very candid conversation. So I think 3 points which you have made, I'll just pass it on to Dr. Lakshmi to kind of shed light on the same thing. One is he talks about the one size fits all does not work, right? And second is I think ownership. So I'll also add that the owner's first owner's lies is the buyer, right? What they want to get before in terms of defining the problem statement and specifications, so on and so forth. And third, he talked about the digital divide. So basically, in your area, for example, animal husbandry or the fisheries, right, or the agriculture. So basically, we can't expect that the urban population will be treated at par with the rural as well, right? So your views, ma'am.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Mr. Siddharth and other speakers spoke about a lot of challenges which we face while implementing these digital projects. I will speak about a different aspect, agriculture and animal husbandry sector, where we have had all kinds of revolutions. We had green revolution, blue and white and yellow, all revolutions. Now, without an inch of doubt, I can say that now we are going through the digital revolution. And digital revolution is there cutting across all the sectors. So, coming to the agriculture, animal husbandry, dairy, fishery sector, the digital transformation has started, and there are various projects in various states which have been implemented very successfully, also at the center. So I was earlier in the Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India, and recently joined back my order. So last year, in fact, we were awarded the digital award also from the Honorable President of India for the 𝐂𝐸𝐴M project. So there are, Mr. Manoj also will be talking about a lot of e-marketing related aspects. So coming to the agriculture sector, we have been talking about production and how we have achieved that kind of food and nutrition, food security especially. So what about marketing? So the marketing in agriculture is very, very complex, very, very complex. So that actually brings us to the point that can we have one nation, one market kind of a scenario? And that is very, very complex and very, very complicated due to the APMC Act, and the APMC Act is governed by the states, and all the states coming together. Making reforms in the APMC Act is also very, very critical to have one nation, one market. So we are, progressing towards that status. So under the 𝐂𝐸𝐴M, almost like 200 more than 200 agriculture products are traded across mandis and across the states. But the interstate and inter-mandi trade is also a very critical aspect. So various states are working on it. Government of India is working on it. So that is, as Mr. Siddharth was putting discussing about various challenges. We have faced all those challenges there also. Now, especially when you talk about having different stakeholders coming together, especially in a project like a marketing, agri-marketing project, there are so many challenges, like what exactly you want. First of all, defining that itself is a big thing. And different states having different kinds of guidelines, different kinds of acts, making reforms and bringing all of them together onto the single platform, that is another challenge. And the private sector stakeholders coming onto the platform and doing trade is again, is one of the biggest challenges. So bringing various stakeholders onto the platform is one of the biggest challenges which we have faced. But the work is in progress. Coming to the animal husbandry sector, it has got huge potential which is still unexplored. In the dairy sector, of course, we have little bit of digital transformation projects progressing well, especially in the dairy sector. Stellux has come across and they have set up certain projects in the dairy sector. But fisheries sector is completely unexplored. And as we all know that we are talking about, and we are when it comes to farmers, then as Mr. Siddharth said, the level of capacity building is a problem. So how do we actually bring in such digital projects in the fishery sector and the animal husbandry sector, taking into account the entire value chain? Still, in our country, when we talk about these sectors, the value chain concept is still at a nascent stage. So how do we bring all this input, throughput and output kind of a scenario when you talk about management jargon? So that applies even in the value chain development or value chain management in animal husbandry, be it layer farming or broiler farming or goat farming or fisheries. It's very important to bring all these stakeholders in the value chain together and bring them onto a digital platform. So we have actually created one platform like that is called as Digital Livestock Management System, DLMS. Government of India has also come up with NDLM, National Digital Livestock Management. So actually making the registries and then bringing the data onto the platform and then using it would be very critical. But once you do that background work, then interacting with various stakeholders on the digital platform, creating dashboards and for your analytics becomes easier. So initially it will be difficult. Initially there will be a lot of challenges with regard to even the defining the problem statement and bringing data together, creating data, and then also bringing a lot of other stakeholders onto the platform and trying to make them talking to each other, all those things. Especially amongst the employees, there is a lot of issue related to the change management. There is a lot of resistance. They don't want to come on time to the hospital, especially when you're talking about the veterinary hospital. They have to actually put in their finger and then register their attendance, etc. So there's a lot of resistance for those things. But we are trying. So DLMS is progressing well. So when it comes to the fishery sector, it's very less which has been done. So there's a lot to be done. But we need simple, small projects for fisheries and for animal husbandry, so that you can actually bring the farmers together onto the platform.
Thank you. Dr. Monas, CEO, Center for E-Governance. So I think I'll ask you a simple question. Taking clues from others, and southern states have been leading and early mover in the e-gov space. So your views in terms of how to get it right, like people have talked about, right, from conceptualization to completion.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'll start with a small story. A bus conductor was asked to write a letter. The neighbors came up and said, telegram लिखो करके paper pen दे दिया, वो table में रखा, he couldn't write. He was surprised, भाई तू illiterate है क्या, तू नहीं लिख पा रहा है? Then he says, बस में लिख सकता हूँ, यहाँ नहीं है. So then they started shaking the table and that fellow wrote the letter. So that's my problem, that sitting there I can't speak. So I chose to stand here to start speaking to you, following our esteemed first speaker. So gentlemen today and ladies, we heard experienced practitioners giving words of wisdom on how they saw the journey of IT while implementing them, the first speaker, the second speaker, as well as the third speaker. Today, I'm here to give you a little different dimension of what is happening in Karnataka and what is the future we see in e-governance, because we see industry leaders here. The words of wisdom is not that one size fits all customization, then taking the challenges of people getting transferred out over here, how simple, how solid, how sustainable your solutions can be are part of your job also when you start looking at government businesses. So with this, I will say that e-governance took its journey. It started from just information on websites. It started with interaction, then data collection, then service delivery. We moved into the era of mobile governance, that sitting on the mobile phone, you can ask for a service. Then now the country is talking about digital governance, where you have silos of information, talking to each other, integrating data, delivering services, so on and so forth. So let me tell you friends, Karnataka, we are going one step forward, that is doorstep governance. So this is where it holds interest for you, that how you move on to your products, give us that, demand what we want here, so that we can also take the visions forward. I will give you 7 stories in 7 minutes, which has been allotted to me. At first, I will talk about the citizen service delivery, the Sakala project which was started here. We heard one of the speakers in the morning talking about governance and how governance is being delivered. Sakala is an act in Karnataka where the first move we made, that right to services, if there are certain services that the government has to be delivered, it has to be delivered within that time frame. Easy said. So then we got an act, we got a strong IT backbone to support these things. Now who are the people who are going to deliver these services? It is not a single company delivering a software, nor a Toyota company delivering a car. It is 70 heterogeneous departments in various forms of IT adoption who's supposed to deliver. And then how much? 1,115 services to be delivered to citizens. So Karnataka's journey over here, adapting IT technology, such heterogeneous nature of services, starting from a birth certificate to a death certificate, in the entire journey, income certificate, business licenses, so on and so forth, is being delivered by government. And then IT adoption is the backbone. Saying so, I will go into the second stage of where Karnataka moved into from right to services. It moved proximity to break that rural-urban digital divide. It moved into the Seva Sindhu platform, where we tried to put offices closer to the habitation. We started with B1, which gave around 24 crore services to the Bangalore urban population, moved to K1, which gave up to 8 crore delivery to the urban areas, then moved to Gram 1, 6,800 offices talking on an electronic platform, 750 services being delivered. More than 27 crore service deliveries happened through the Seva Sindhu platform. Not a small number. Now we are talking about the delivery at doorstep. We are now having a very unique thing. In fact, in the next 15 days, we are in a position to take a call on this. We are going to bring up this Janamitra concept, where we are going to engage around 24,000 youth, both men and women, who can deliver these services at the doorstep, be it whatever are these 750 odd services. So this is where we are moving into. So gentlemen, IT in governance has now become a very integral part of service delivery. Now, as Madam spoke about on ENAM, in fact, if prices were discovered, if Amazon is what it is today, delivering suppliers and the so-called the buyers, Karnataka government started with the agriculture market platform. Today around 45,000 crores transaction happens on our platform, a market exchange. We have got around 48 lakh suppliers. Those are my farmers. A transparent price discovery model, having all models of auction, tendering, fixed price system. You have the clear settling and settlement which is happening. So here is where technology entered into the market scenario, bringing in transparency, breaking the information asymmetry, doing clearing and settlement functions, so on and so forth. Then we come into what Karnataka is now looking into. We are having a very exclusive Kutumba dashboard, a Kutumba database. So UID is individual base, Kutumba is a family database. So every family who is there, father, mother, family, children, their databases are into single unit. 1.5 crore family points, 5.5 crore population are on this database. So why is it we are requiring? So when you talk about business process re-engineering, when you talk about delivery of benefits, when you talk about deduplication, when you talk about saturating services at the last mile, such kind of databases are quintessential. If I can give you an example, the recent 2 announcements made by our government giving this Graha Lakshmi and Graha Jyoti, that is free power and free 2,000 rupees every woman. So it was not very difficult for us. The announcement was made in 10 days. In 10 days time, we are in a position to identify who are that 1 crore beneficiaries who are to get this solution. So it was IT which has helped us on these things. Similarly, Karnataka has something known as the fruits database, where we have got more than 85% of the farmers' land records digitized. Bhumi was our first version, Fruits is our second version. So farmer database, along with the digital geospatial position where this land is there, we do more than 2 crore plot updates 4 times in a year. What crop is being grown there? Now imagine this data which is available. This data can decide market prices. This data can help which farmer can be given what kind of benefits out over here. So this is how we have adopted technology. So I thought I shall show you the pathways where we are treating in Karnataka, such that it can trigger certain interest for you out over here. I'm totally in sync with both the 3 speakers who have given about that it is to be a solution to be worked. It is to be a solution that has to be supported, because officers come and go, but your system and solution should stand along these things. With paucity of time, I end here. I'm having an opportunity to speak on disaster management, which I will cover up over here. So thank you one and all.
Thank you. So we'll approach Dr. Abhishek. Basically, on a similar lines, I think we have been discussing about the pitfalls and success mantras of making it right. So your views from Himachal.
Good afternoon. I'll make your life simple. I'll be speaking very short, hardly 2-3 minutes. Rather than speaking what we have done, I'd just like to start by saying that today's time is not just the time for information technology, but a lot of digital technologies, which we all know. In Himachal, we have changed the name from the Department of IT to the Department of Digital Technologies and Governance. And just like to state that Himachal is also akin to state union territory of Leh Ladakh. If I ask, because a lot of people are there and some of you might be wondering कि इतने सारे IAS officers बड़ा ज्ञान बांट रहे हैं, and if I ask like for a common person, who is more important, a local patwari or a revenue officer or the district collector? Local patwari. Okay, who is more important for a common person, a local police constable or a police inspector or the DGP? Who is more important for a common person, the local forest guard or the chief conservator of forest? So why you are saying all these things is because we feel that for a common person, the government functionary with whom they interact on a daily basis is the most important person. And if our digital transformation can bring that change in the lives of people through those government functionaries whom the people interact on a daily basis, then I think we would have achieved our process of the digital progress of the country. And that is why, especially in a state like Himachal, which is also a hilly state, not having too much population like the bigger state, but around 7 million. So the purpose is that if the digital transformation is touching the lives of only the following categories of people, then I don't think we have achieved much. Is digital transformation touching the lives of literate or digitally literate, educated, urban, male, English speaking, these are the categories of people whom every company, even the IT companies or the other governments are focusing. But rather than that, what we aim is that even an illiterate person or an old lady of 70-75 years old sitting in some remote village, not knowing any English, not knowing any digital technology, उसको मोबाइल भी ऑपरेट नहीं करना आता, उसको कुछ सॉफ्टवेयर, कुछ ऐप का मालूम नहीं है, अगर वो व्यक्ति भी हमारा डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन प्रोसेस से बेनिफिट हो सके, who are living in rural areas, who may not be speaking English, who are not educated, who are not digitally literate, who are not young people, but even those people can be benefited from our digital transformation process, then I think we have achieved something. Because India, as we all know, is not just Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad. India is also, we have seniors from so many states. India is also Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand, Himachal, Leh Ladakh. So therefore, let us try to work for a system in which our technologies, our partnership with the private sector, our digital solutions can benefit poor, illiterate, not knowing any English, not knowing any software, not knowing any app, but if they can also be benefited, then I think we have achieved our purpose as welfare state, and it is in this direction that we in the state of Himachal are striving for. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Neha ji from UPDESCO, Indian Special Secretary. So, I understand you have worked on both sides. You have been with the IBM before joining UPSC, right? So, your views about whatever you heard, both sides of stories.
So, thank you very much. I will just introduce myself. I am Neha Jain. I am Special Secretary, IT Electronics, Government of Uttar Pradesh. And I have been listening very intently at all the speeches made by the various speakers. यहाँ पे बिहार से और कर्नाटका I hold a very special place because I have worked in IT for 4 years of my life, stayed in Bangalore. So as you said that I understand the other side of the story. And for me, when I joined the government, it was a total, I don't know, we always used to just have a laptop, we used to carry it idle, and when I came in the government, there were so many files that we need to have a separate person to take all our files. There were so many files. But now, the circle is complete, and as it was mentioned in the morning by Secretary of UT of Ladakh also, we are completely online. All our files are now e-office. So I now enjoy that privilege in the government, which is a change, I see. In my 9 years of service, I have seen the transformation from physical files to e-office. And I'm sure there is a lot to be done. There is a lot of HRMS work that needs to be done, ERP systems which needs to be implemented, CRMs which needs to be done. all those things which need to be done. But I think as a government, the prime responsibility of the government is to build roads, right? अगर हम लोग एक आम भाषा में सोचें कि government should provide the infrastructure, and by infrastructure we understand roads as the simplest, ठीक है? So government should provide the roads, and then the cars and everything the private sector will come into operation. Similarly for IT, the government should provide the core infrastructure which has been provided in the form of the state-wide area networks, the SWAN networks, the state data centers, and also now a lot of other citizen-centric services are coming in place. But if I talk about, so there are various perspectives that one can talk about in digital transformation. As the head of an organization, or as someone who's leading an organization towards digital transformation, what one needs to look at is that within my own system, there might be a lot of stuff which needs to be digitized, you know. The effect of UP is that I'm more comfortable in Hindi. Yeah? Okay. So what happens is that अगर आपको पूरा transform करना है IT, so you look at two sides. One is that what are the services that you want to give to the citizens, right? That is our G2C services. And also you will look at what are the internal changes that my organization needs to have better governance, right? So, for example, I am MD of a corporation which is doing software for all the various different departments. So I need to have that bigger picture view of what are the projects that I am undertaking, what are the analytics which are required, and whether there are any pending requests. So all that requires a lot of decision support system, as we call it now, in terms of artificial intelligence, our dashboard and analytics. I might be aware of how to write that Python code to get that particular API. You know, we have APIs now. Everything. Pehle data was, आपने print out निकाला, scan किया, डाल दिया. That was the initial digitization. Now people are talking about OG, open government data. Data needs to be in a format which is machine readable. Earlier, government data was never open to the public in terms of being accessible via API. And now, if I talk about Uttar Pradesh and if I talk about IGRS, we have an integrated grievance redressal system. We have built up a system where all the grievances, if it is coming from the collector's office, it might be coming from the CP grants, it might be coming from a phone call which is made to the CM helpline. Everything is on a single platform, in the integrated grievance redressal platform. How is it possible? Because there are APIs. So, one, the government needs to work on how to make the data available to the citizens so that they can code around it. They can come up with solutions. Because if we think कि मुझे कोई सब कुछ पता है तो वो गलत है. हमें थोड़ा पता है, हमें vocabulary समझ में आनी चाहिए. But there is so much talent out there. All the vendors, I have worked in a company, IBM. There are so many bright minds out there who are there in our IITs, our IIMs. They have a lot of solutions which they have, and we as government can enable them via our hackathons and so much stuff that we can do. So, अपने मध्य जैसे सर आपने बोला बिहार में आपने सर PhD करा है, तो that in our mind the roadmap needs to be very clear that what is it that as a government I need to do. If I am a computer engineer and if I go and sit on how to do that code, that is not my job right now. I have to understand my job role right now. मैं ये कर सकता हूँ इसलिए मैं करूँ, वो सही नहीं है. मुझे क्या करना है being in my present position, that is something that clarity is needed, right? And how the people can access it. I think e-district platform is the Center for E-Governance by Government of India. It's a very good platform where all the services are being made available to the citizens on a single window. And as we said, sir, that you are going to have some UVA who are going to journalists, who are going to every person as a doorstep. In UP, we have a similar single window platform for our investors, because UP is now looking at a lot of investment. It's called the Nivesh Mitra platform. And there we have something called a Nivesh Mitra. Very similar concept. So a Nivesh Mitra is someone who will help you with all the softwares and upgrading. So that level of handholding the government needs to do. So if I talk of the solutions, there are a lot of solutions in the IT sector, in the education sector, the agriculture sector, and all the best practices are available online. But if I talk of the challenge, I think the biggest challenge that is there in the entire country right now is cybersecurity. And I think everything is now QR code. Every payment that you make, you just do a QR code, right? But the thought in my head was that right now कोई भी message आ जाता है, if you click on that, it might be malicious link. What if you go to a QR and you press on that and it is a Trojan for that? So that is something that we need to see, and as a government we have to work towards cyber security. So we have done the first step of giving the service delivery, and now we need to see how our systems are very secure. I think that would sum it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, Manoj, so up to you to kind of take it from there, the data and records, how to preserve and take care of security, not only cyber, but the physical, and some from the industries.
So thank you very much. I think the good news is this stopped at 0, so we don't know how much over we are going, and we have to have Alexa back with us. Ma'am, you were a corporate here, you also an IT actor, so you have people in the government that come from those institutes. And I think all of you have some amazing experiences to share. I think it all started off with Hansraj sir talking about how digital transformation is about change management. And I think that's the common mantra that I saw in almost everybody's talk that we were there. We at Iron Mountain are also really kind of focusing on that. We saw, you talked a bit about the files coming to you when you moved to the government. We saw a Deloitte presentation with a lot of haphazard, it was a record room. I can imagine almost so many record rooms like that lying in the government. So there is a lot of physical which continues to remain after you move to digital. And I talked about it during the keynote where your paperless dream is really about less paper rather than paperless. So there is always the combination of paper and what you have in digital form. What we've done, if I can just take a couple of examples, we were proud to be part of CBC's initiatives with income tax. I think going forward it became all digital, some of it remained physical, but we still had huge amount of CITs lying with a lot of documents in there, which also needed to be correlated as you went into the digital part of the piece. Today, all of those are put in boxes into our warehouses, and today all the CITs are very clean. They are trying to work with us to try and see how, when they need any information from any of that physical document, which is not necessarily scanned, can be brought forward when it is needed. We did something very similar for the UK General Records Office. They are the ones that do the births and the deaths. From 2009 onwards, everything was digital, but there were so many correlations between various relationships between these births and deaths that had to be taken, which was still lying in physical form. While scanning is an option, but still mass scanning is not always possible. So how can you bring in metadata from physical and combine it on a single pane of glass to make it digital and make this change management that much more seamless? I think our vision is to be able to have a QR code, as you mentioned, for each of the files that is lying in a record room or in any physical form, with the metadata enough for you to know where it's lying, which shelf, which box, or it's outsourced into a warehouse like ours where we can give it to you when you want, and be linked with digital, native digital as well as scanned digital, and extract information as you need it, so you can get, there's a huge amount of wealth of knowledge, in the historic archives and so on. So I think bringing in the single pane of glass between physical and digital, helping you transform from physical to digital is really what we try to work towards and strive towards. We love to work with the government of
UT Ladakh, as well as all the states that I see here. I think one of the most amazing things that Amit sir and team have done out here is brought in literally a national integration in this city of Leh, and it's been extremely gratifying to be here, and thank you so much for that. And I think
Thank you. So that's it from this session. Would like to thank all my panelists and audience. And due to paucity of time, would not take any question, but please feel free to reach out to them, after this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the speakers and the moderator Amit Kumar Singh. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए हमारे सभी speakers के लिए as well as the moderator. So many things have come up. Before you leave, we have one felicitation ceremony. It's a formality that we would like to take along with you, a remembrance of this place and this, of course, very beautiful conclave. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Gagandev Nanda. He's the Sales Director, Government Business 𝐂𝐸𝐬𝐴, to kindly do the honors of presenting mementos to our speakers. I would request you to please start with Mr. Hansraj Verma. He's IS and Chairman and MD Tamil Nadu Energy Development Agency, Government of Tamil Nadu. Dr. S. Siddharth, IS, Additional Chief Secretary, Home, Finance, Cabinet and Chief Minister, Secretariat, Government of Bihar, Dr. S. Siddharth. To Dr. N. Vijaya Lakshmi, IS, Principal Secretary, Animal and Fisheries Resources, Government of Bihar. To Dr. Manoj Rajan, IFS Chief Executive Officer, Center for E-Governance, Government of Karnataka. To Dr. Abhishek Jain, IS, Secretary, Chief Minister, IT and Home, Finance, Planning, Economics and Statistics, Government of Himachal Pradesh. To Ms. Neha Jain, IS, Special Secretary, IT and MD, UPDESCO, Department of IT Electronics, Government of Uttar Pradesh. To Mr. Anuj Kapoor, Vice President and Head of India Region, Iron Mountain. And to Mr. Amit Kumar Singh, Senior Director, Deloitte India, for being the moderator, wonderful moderator for the session. And once again, thank you to all the speakers, valuable speakers. Sorry, sir? Yeah, of course. And I request everyone to please be in the center for the group photo.